right. Good evening. It's Thursday, September 26th. The time's 5:35. And so welcome to this month's Recreation Advisory Board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Unfortunately, we don't have a quorum tonight, so we won't be able to approve the agenda or dispose the minutes, nor vote on anything that may come up. But I think that we can still have some pretty productive discussions on the few things that are under new business and a couple of the old business things. And I'm excited to hear the updates as we move from summer to fall. So let's just hop right in to all of that. First, under new business is the discussion of HB 47. Do you want to share with us a little bit what that?
We've had some updates since I sent my email as well. But House Bill 47, in a nutshell, is stating that, it's required in school facilities to have AEDs, but also in indoor recreation facilities to have AEDs. And the way that, we were reading it, and there was a lot of back and forth discussion within our Ohio Parks and Recreation Association members if it's a semicolon, then it would mean that all of the park facilities, and the comma itself is confusing because it only says indoor recreation facilities, and then it continues on and lists off things including sport playing fields. And so we were wondering, okay, is this indoor playing fields or is this outdoor playing fields? And it really wasn't clear. So we worked with Andy, our service safety director, and Lisa Eliason, our law director, and they both worked on getting communication going and clarification from the Ohio Municipal Attorneys Association. And so we did get an email back from Gary, and he's the executive director and general counsel of the Ohio Municipal Attorneys Association. And he agreed with Lisa's interpretation that the rule applies to indoor playing fields. So not outdoor.
Not the ballparks.
Correct.
Okay.
So that being said, Aaron had also, our assistant director, had on the other route, started working on, okay, how do we get all these AEDs? And how many AEDs are we going to need if we have to have this in place by October 24th? And she got in contact with the Athens Has Heart Foundation, and it sounds like we're going to get AEDs, several from them. So we are
like free of charge.
Yeah, free of charge.
Okay.
Yes, like they're going to cover the cost. They asked for the invoice and the write-up, and so Aaron was, because they couldn't cover the cost of the cabinets, the outdoor cabinets that we would need to install on facilities, but they could cover the cost of the AEDs. And so we also reached out to our insurance provider just to see what's the liability, or what do we need to make sure that we have in place if we are to move forward. And they were super supportive of having AEDs put in our outdoor recreation facilities, specifically our playing field locations, primarily.
Does that change the insurance you have to carry because you have extra?
No, but they had suggestions of how to make sure that we are, doing the best that we can to cover and make sure that, we are maintaining and keeping the AEDs up to date. They were like, these are the things that you need to have in place. Signage that instructs, people how to use it and call 911, and make sure that your staff, even though we don't have those facility staff, make sure that your staff are trained in using AEDs, which they are. And then, I feel like there was something else, that the liability itself would only, if we have all of these things met, the liability issues would be if someone's going to the cabinet to get an AED because they need it in an emergency and it's not there, and which we can't really control. But if we are on a constant check and maintenance of it, and of course if things are expired, like the battery's not working or the pads are expired, those would be the liability issues. So they were really supportive. We don't have to have anything extra in place. We just have to make sure that we are kind of following what their suggestions are to make sure that we're protecting, ourselves as a city, but also our community. So I told Erin, like, let's keep moving forward. She needs to clarify if that changes anything with the Athens Has Heart Foundation, since it doesn't seem like it is a requirement by law. So that gives us a little bit of time to get the cabinets, because that's going to be a cost that we'll have to incur as well. But yeah, so I feel like that was a big change from whenever I emailed John and was like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if then, since they will be in place, so the rec center will get them, presumably, like, there will be one at the pool, and then...
Yeah, so there's already ones at the pool, and there's
Okay.
already ones at the community center. And so that's not a problem for us. I did have that thought earlier today, and I forgot to look into, because I thought it was a requirement already, so that's why I was confused about the indoor versus outdoor thing, because I thought indoor facilities already needed to have, but maybe it was just government facilities. I'm not sure.
If it's new, I wonder if it's been required of new facilities for a while, but not of old facilities. Like maybe if you were building
maybe
something
there
new,
was
you had to,
something-
but not.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I was
Maybe,
wondering if then maybe I know that the training is relatively simple. That's why they're designed such a way that you don't need a special training. But if there's going to be an increased presence in AEDs around the community, if the community center wants to offer a training, like a free one-time training, and then also for youth coaches, so the folks who will, or the parent coaches, to come and just like a refresher course. I mean, even if it's quote unquote fail-proof, idiot-proof, whatever, in an emergency, it wouldn't help to hurt to have gone through a couple of
to at least
dry
know
runs and know how
generally what an AD looks like and have handled one.
Yeah. Anybody who has a recent CPR certification, it should be CPR and AED. And it has been for
Okay.
A while.
a long time. So I think that anybody, but I don't know that coaches are not required to have that certification, are they?
No.
Yeah. We have a lot of people in the community and organizations in the community that could run a class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our fire
there's-
department can too. I'm not going to volunteer them, but they're the ones who run it internally for us to keep all of our staff up to date. So they do a couple a year for us and for the city staff.
I wanted to share, there's a,
Yeah.
is this a good time for me?
Yeah.
To share? Okay. There's an organization called Project Atom that I think it started in Wisconsin, but now it's nationwide. And I learned about this from a cardiologist at Cincinnati Children's. But they have a lot of things on their website about being prepared for sudden cardiac arrest and heart-related emergencies at different facilities. They have affiliates. In Ohio, the affiliates are Cincinnati Children's, Nationwide Children's, and Cleveland, somebody in Cleveland. And they have checklists and heart-safe programs on their website to be a heart-safe school and a heart-safe community. And so then there's these really handy checklists there that you can go through. And so I pulled that up. And so the checklist is like checking the locations of your AED, that they have clear signage, checked for performance readiness monthly, first responder kit, who's on your emergency response team, what's your emergency response plan, what kind of training do people do you run drills? So these could be just a really handy guide for making sure. And then we could maybe connect with, it looks like at Nationwide and at Cincinnati Children's, they're focused on healthy schools, not, which again, that might be, I don't know if that's related to laws or what, but they are focused on heart-safe schools, not necessarily heart-safe communities, but I think they still probably would be, but also our local cardiologists, I think, would be very happy to talk about.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Awesome.
I like that. All right. Well, yeah, continue to keep us updated and when they get installed and things like that.
Definitely.
The next two bits of new business, like I shared earlier, were kind of a Megan, don't forget for me to ask about the Parks and Rec participation in the Uptown Halloween, which is coming up next month, end of the month, and just was asking, are you planning to, and kind of what's coming? I know we'll meet one more time before then, but.
Yeah. And the press release should go out, I think, next week. This will be our third time doing the family-friendly block party, and it'll be from 1 to 4, and we'll have the section of Court Street between Washington and
Union?
yes, thank you, Union. Where are we? And so we'll have a lot of similar activities like we had last year, and some new ones. I know the National Guard is going to come down, and they're going to bring at least one vehicle, or not, if not two, to do some, people love and kids love exploring like military vehicles and like law enforcement vehicles. So of course the police will be here too, and then fire's planning on being here with their smoke trailer again. So that'll be great. And we're kind of finalizing with people, our different folks that we work with on our end to secure everyone for that event. So yes, we will be doing it again.
Cool. Yeah, I am.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just wanted confirmation.
Yeah.
As part of my role, I tend to brag on what you all do,
Yeah,
and I wanted to
you.
confirm as I'm asking people, please come to the family-friendly portion of the block party.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you.
It was really well attended last year, and it was rainy. So,
Yes.
and it was really well attended the first year, and it was sunny. So, hopefully we get sunny again for this one. But yeah, I know last year we were a little worried because the parking situation was different than the first year, because OU has a home football game, and they have a home football game again. But people figured it out. So yeah, it worked out. Still had lots of people.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Any other questions? All right. Well, the next is similar to your participation in Uptown Halloween. I had a chance to chat with Brandon B-Funk at Brew Week, their Fall Fest, and I asked. Somewhere in my memory, I had a family-friendly area at Brew Week. It's one of the many times I've been there. And he was very enthusiastic with giving you all the space there.
Yeah.
I think his words were, you staff it, the space is yours. So we can connect outside of a meeting with the dates, because the dates are set for next summer. And to have a similar family friendly area. It's July. I have it in my calendar. It's like July 18th, something like that. And so that was just something very far in advance. But I also know it's July.
Last call.
Yeah,
or
last
something
call.
Else.
So July 19th, 2025. But I know how quickly that stuff sneaks up
Yeah.
on us, and that having more runway to plan, to make sure you have the volunteers or the staff, or just that space on your calendar.
Yeah.
I think that would be really appreciated. I saw a lot of kids during my volunteer shift at that, and they were, of course, just loving being out and running around, but having a space, I think would be really awesome to have a presence there.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Okay.
Haven't considered it, or it hasn't been brought up. So until now. So.
I know next year it will be very busy for you all, but
Always. Summer's always.
All right. Well, cool. So let's move on to continuing business. If everyone's all right, I think you can mention what you envisioned for the ad hoc committee, but we can't vote on that, but we can put it on John's radar, at least, as something you might want to do, and then hopefully we can get that voted on then next month. So let's maybe smush those two together, the anniversary ideas, and then the ad hoc committee. So
yeah, I'll just touch on that. And so the idea is, and I'm meeting with Joshua Tree Landscaping tomorrow at the community center again. They've been great to work with, to bounce ideas off of, and so but the idea is that instead of doing all of the landscaping this coming year, since we really need to put those funds to work in other places as well, then we're going to focus on just the hardscaping of that area. And then that hardscaping would be, the centerpiece would be a sculpture and place around it so that people can, go 360 around the sculpture. And whenever I asked AMAC at their last meeting, the Athens Municipal Arts Commission, if they would be interested in taking this on as an AMAC initiative, or would they prefer to kind of be more advisory in this? And they wanted to take it on as a AMAC initiative, but also wanted to work with the Recreation Advisory Board on this. And, the reason I even, I really asked them and was hoping that they would take this on as an initiative is because of the request for proposals and selecting and having a jury to select the art that does go there. That's something that they have a lot of experience doing. And so I thought that would be a good way for them to get incorporated into, and also they're advocating and working for art in public spaces. And so that one clearly fits the bill. And so I think with the ad hoc committee, it would be meeting with the AMAC ad hoc committee and working with them to build a jury and then select the pieces. They pretty much have a request for proposals already nailed down. I'm gonna ask for a few edits. I think we're gonna make the concrete pad smaller than the ones that are going to be at the fire station sculpture walk. That's an 8x8 pad. I think in the space that we have, I want it to be maybe 5x5, 6x6. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, to make sure that we have enough space to go around it as well, and then space for pretty landscaping in 2026. But then with that, when I was talking with my team about ideas for the 25th anniversary, we, Erin, at one of her former places of work in North Carolina, she was in charge of sponsorships, and she had worked on a project where they used bricks as, you lay out your bricks, and then she has it in her mind, she knows exactly how it works, where if somebody wants to buy a brick, sponsor a brick, then you have a stash or cache of bricks somewhere else, and then someone engraves them, you swap it out. And so we thought, okay, well, bricks might be the easiest way to get kind of sponsorship, donations, whatever people want to do, to memorialize or celebrate somebody, and have that as the path going up to it and maybe around it, I'm not sure. But that's kind of where we are right now in that process. And so if we could get just 2 people, it could be 1, but 2 would be nice. No more than 2 from the Rec Advisory Board. And it can't be more than 2, because if it's 3, it's a public meeting. So, or I think if it's more than 3, but 2 will be fine because they already have 2. Then those people could be a part of it and really, provide some more perspective on what should be there and how it should look.
Yeah.
So, and the budget right now, I kind of have 30. I don't have to have my budget ready to go to Andy and the mayor until October 11th. So I'm hoping after tomorrow's discussion, I can have a little bit more of a idea of if I'm kind of hitting it right, but I have 30,000 plugged right now for it. And that includes paying the artist and for the sculpture materials. So I'm hoping that that's the magic number.
Yeah. Well, I think having a joint committee to talk about that is a great idea. And maybe after the meeting, I can send out a sort of an email call for who would be interested, so we can kind of do that between meetings. That way, when we come back in October, there's no who wants to do this, that it's just these 2 names. Let's just vote on these 2 people want to.
Yeah.
So we can kind of hash out the volunteer status of folks.
That sounds good.
Between now and October.
Yeah, and the the Athens Municipal Arts Commission, their next meeting isn't going to be a meeting where we're talking about this or planning it. So their next meeting is going to be the ribbon cutting for the sculpture walk at the fire department. So that's October 9th. So if you guys want to go, that's whenever it'll be during the meeting time, which is 5:30 to 7. But yeah, so I guess you're not missing out or messing up any timeline. Okay. They won't be doing business of that sort that evening.
Okay.
And then there will be a social at Jackie O's afterwards.
All right.
If you want to check out the sculpture walk.
Is Is there an opportunity to keep the cost down on that, to use like the Athens Garden Club or any of those to help with the landscaping?
Yeah, and I think that's part of what I'm going to talk to Joshua Tree about, because we have, our crew too. And so I really think with design wise, we need some professional help. And then figuring out where we can, how we can make it happen. But yeah. And we also have we have access to, I think we have access to bricks, but it might just be, they're big stones that you can even double as seating, that you can place that look natural, and because they are natural pieces. But we have some of those in the lay down yard. So I think there's definitely ways that we can keep within and maybe trim down. But yeah, I think the AMAC, they, in their RFP for the sculpture walk at the fire station, they had $7,500 for the artists, which includes the materials that they needed, but also, there's a specific term, not payment, but,
Stipend.
Yes, thank you. And so I was thinking that probably in that 7,500 to 10 would be reasonable.
It's helpful to know what they did.
Yeah.
This was in the center there where the evergreens are, or you talked about over by like where the weight room is in front of that?
Yeah, so this is going to be if you are standing looking at the community center from the street, I guess there's kind of this big circle of hedges, and then there's grass in the middle of it. You can't see it from the street. And the light pole, that's the area that we're going to focus on for this. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Those are yews, shrubbery, and lots of English ivy.
All right. Well, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
To get that done, and then so we can probably more or less table 25th anniversary ideas. I think we brainstormed quite a bit at the last meeting, and when we're kind of back to full strength, we can revisit some of those ideas. I know one of the things that Annie was expressed interest in is like more definitive fundraising, like plans and step-by steps going forward. So we can again table that till next.
Yeah. Well, that's good, because we had a meeting with my team as well, and I kind of started tagging people for certain initiatives. So we'll have that a little more formalized by the next meeting too.
That's great. Awesome. And then the ribbon cutting is on your update anyway. So
Yeah.
let's just move on to your part.
Okay, yeah, it's time. All right. We are still waiting for the installation for the protective netting at West State Street Park, which is going to split part of the entire old driving range to soccer fields. The area that we lease now, they'll probably be dropping the poles in the next couple of weeks to at least store them until everything else is together. So that's exciting. We did order a water/human water fountain for the dog park. And we still haven't ordered a piece of agility equipment, but we are, working on the West State Street Dog Park, this year at the very least. And I don't have an update on when the repaving of the bike path, in the West State Street Park area is going to occur, other than it will
I think
occur.
it happened.
It happened already?
I think my husband declared it done on a dog walk, I think.
Excellent!
Or at least started.
Happened. I'll check. We'll check. Well, there was repaving going on behind the community center and today, and it's exciting and awesome. But I'm also like, did I miss that somewhere? Hey, it's great. It's not coming out of my budget. Let's do it.
I'm going to say with the dog park, there may be an opportunity to sell the bricks for that too, and the walking.
Yeah,
It was a
so-
dedicated community over there
idea.
that shows up. I'm sure people
Yeah.
would be happy to support it.
Yeah,
That is a dedicated
Nicole's
community.
Nicole, she's our Parks and Rec program specialist, and she's really interested in creating a program for honoring and memorializing dogs, and your furry friends. but also to establish that as, a fund to help support the dog parks.
Shelley,
So I'll mention that to her, the bricks, because
Yeah.
that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that brick walkway, but it's there.
and Shelley Lieberman, I think she's the admin, recreated a West State Street Dog Park Facebook group. There was one that was very, very old, and it was mostly just bots at this point and kind of defunct. And so there is a new version of that, and they are a dedicated community. They post. I've brought up a couple of issues that they've chatted about on there before, and I think knowing that there's like a fundraising initiative specific for the park, or that Nicole's doing this memorializing kind of thing, donations in your dog's name kind of thing. If that solidifies into something with links I can share there,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Nice. And thank you for reminding me about that Facebook group, because I had forgotten. Okay, and all right, so the Richland Avenue Playground. So they're working on installing it. The weather, as much as we needed this rain, has caused a little bit of delays, but that's okay. They have, the entire, all the old equipment out, and it's cool. I was talking to them today, and there's two giant piles of dirt, and one of them has a bunch of landscaping fabric in it that they have to, we have to take to the dump. But the other pile is the Athens Hocking. Is it still Athens Hocking Recycling Center now, or did they change their name? But those folks are going to come grab it and use it for compost. So that's exciting. Yeah. And whenever I met with them this afternoon around 1, they were getting ready to drill holes and get some poles set and hopefully get the dyno climber put in place. And they probably won't be able to do anything tomorrow, so they'll be back at it next week to finish up. So that's exciting. And then the ribbon cutting is going to be the 21st at 10 a.m. of October. And obviously I invited you all, and the Disabilities Commission and the CDC and the Athens County Board of Developmental Disabilities, because everyone has wrote a letter of support for this so that we could get this grant, which we did, and that was exciting. And so I think there'll be a nice turnout. There will be a couple of people from the Ohio Parks and Recreation Foundation, which was the funding agency that is helping to support this playground. So they'll be there too. I hope you all can make it. I know that everyone has jobs during that time. It's also needed to try to schedule around important city people that needed to be there as well. So
I should be able to be there.
Questions about the Richland Avenue Playground renovations? Excellent. All right, ribbon cutting for the outdoor fitness court. Sounds like you all saw the hubbub, and it's complete. It's awesome. I was working on ordering bike racks for it, because there does need to be a bike rack. So I was looking at that today, trying to figure out what will fit and what we could use there. So there are some final touches, but the community center, we finally had our dumbbells and Smith machine arrive. So those are all set up and awesome. And then for the months-long replacement of the AV system in the multi-purpose room, supposedly in the next 1.5 weeks. So I just put, hopefully by our next meeting, we will have it.
And this is the equipment that would make it such we could record if we had our meetings at the...
That does exist.
Oh, it already does. That already does.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that part of it was we were waiting for fiber, but fiber did get installed. And then I think there were compatibility issues with our existing AV system. So yes, yes, that would hopefully. And then we will have Ryan and Scott come look at it whenever we get our new AV system, which they helped. They looked at it too. And Lucas, our IT person, looked at it just to make sure, like, are we gonna purchase the thing that we can use in many ways? Yes.
Cool.
So, yeah, that would be awesome. So we'll try to get that going whenever we can, so that maybe we could just meet over there, but still record, because I know some folks do tune in. Okay, the pool is still on here because the pool never ever goes away. We did caulking in the pool. It's hard to see whenever it's full because it looks majestic and beautiful, but then whenever you drain it, you can see all the imperfections. And the caulking in the pool, it lasts about 5 years, so we've definitely gotten our money's worth out of it. So the caulking has already been replaced, and they were going to paint this week. Obviously, they can't. So hopefully next week the weather will dry up enough that they can go ahead and finish painting. So that's kind of part of a maintenance of a pool. We're going to get the wooden joists in the entryway. They're the ones that hold up the fancy ceiling area, roof area. We're going to get those cleaned and sealed. And I'm also building out kind of what I expect we will need extra beyond our regular operational budget in 2025, because I'm working on that budget, which I believe will include new chairs, because I know that we could use more loungers and chairs. But they're very expensive.
Yeah.
So, baby steps. Let's see, we have our regular fall programming going on. We did have our last movie in the park for the season, and same with concerts in the park. We had our last one last week. For the season, we've got dance and music programs going on at Arts West. Los Flamingos, they've scheduled their fall performances. They'll have 4 this fall. That's a student organization with the university. And Adam has been working on art for public restrooms, and he's finalized his murals, and the first murals will go up on the restroom doors at the Walmart soccer fields. Cool. So they're beautiful. It's wonderful having an artist on staff who can do stuff like that. So we're really excited for him to have this project. Camp Rotan, it's a long story. We're still trying to get it connected back up to electricity. The cabin, it was, and now it's not, and now we need to do it again. Let's see, the hunting program, it launches Saturday because that's when the hunting season starts for bow hunting. And we sold 23 permits to 16 people. And then I've been working with Buckeye Hero Hunt. And so Buckeye Hero Hunt is a group that takes 100% disabled veterans on guided archery hunts. And they have one event that in Zaleski State Park in October. And it's a lottery system, but they can't always get all the veterans who apply into that program. So I've been working with them all right, well, now that because this year he reached out and the lottery had already happened, and so I was like, well, we'll just see what we have left, and we'll go from there. So that's kind of where we are. But hopefully next year we'll set up a better system so that they can all be involved in the lottery process from the get-go. So yeah, we'll have a better idea on Monday if there's going to be more permits issued, because we will meet and figure out. I think they had 16 hunters who still wanted to come here from all over the state to hunt and participate in this program. So,
will there be signage up around areas at that time?
Yeah.
I noticed one of them is kind of near my house.
Yeah, they're going to put up signs tomorrow. So we have the signs waiting, and we were just kind of waiting till we got closer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have trail on the hunting areas where there are trails. We have, trail use advisory. Mm-hmm. And then the other areas, we're just going to kind of put in that there's no trails, but where we have the parking areas kind of mapped out. No open public hunting, required by city permit only, all that fun stuff. And there are yard signs right now because this is our pilot year. So before we put anything permanent in, we went for the yard sign, the yard sign look.
That's fine.
It's election season, right? It's election season.
It's on both sides, so nobody can put anything on the blank side. And Sells Park tree removal from the dam. We have 2 quotes, so we're working through a plan on how to do that. It's a low risk, but it does need to happen. So we're working through that. Skate park renovations, we're still pending. We're trying to figure out if we need a floodplain permit because it was a little more excavation than we were anticipating. And then Skate Jam happened, which helps those fun repairs. So I think that's it. Roller derby is Saturday, so at the community
this
center.
Saturday.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, the 28th. Yes.
There's so much happening.
Wait. Yes. I was like, what week are we in?
Okay.
Yeah, lots happening on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, this is all great. Thank you for the updates.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for all your hard work, always, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you should update us on how much sleep you get. Because that's just so it's on somebody's agenda to remember that we all need to get to sleep. Are there next on the agenda list is just the random stuff that might have come up, community insights, folks, you members out and about in the community, folks reaching out, chatting with you, anything to share this month?
I've heard some curiosity about what will happen to the old tennis courts at the community center.
Yeah, we're also curious.
Don't know yet.
I am too. Lots of ideas, none of them free. But I know the most recent is we've been working with the Athens Farmers Market on, what are big ideas and big dreams that the farmers market has, and they really want to have this feeling of permanency, and so we've been trying to figure out how to support that, in that space. So one of the conversations we've had is, well, if we, because that's in the flood plain, so if you want to build anything, you have to build it up. And so we've talked about just removing it and creating gravel parking in that area so that people can access the skate park. That could be additional parking for the farmers market. It could be for a movie in the parks, for the bike path. So it's not really that exciting, but so I don't know, but we're kind of holding on to that idea for a moment because the farmers market is exploring how to fund a sort of pavilion off of the end of that parking lot. So still use some of the parking lot, I think, for the farmers market, but then have a covered pavilion that could be multi-use. Like we could use it and program in it, and then the farmers market could use it during market times. So
Can that be at ground level?
no, that also can't be, which is one of the reasons why it's not, hey, we're doing it, because having to build up is incredibly costly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would make very nice green space if that's.
Yeah. It would. It would. It would. That would also be awesome. We do a lot with green space in our areas. So.
I think the gravel sounds like a good idea too. It could be used for a lot of
Yeah.
different things. Cool. That's all I had.
Awesome. Well, as far as announcements, other business goes, Catherine, we can chat later too, but I think we should intentionally reach out to Heather, who was our third new member. I know that she had been in communication with you real early days about a like she had emailed to you.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yes.
A vague recollection.
Yeah.
But since that the initial vote and things like that, I know the early meetings with new members were kind of hit and miss just in general because it was summer. But I do want to intentionally reach out and make sure that it's still a good fit and that she wants to participate. Because if not, we have to go through the process again of pulling from the other folks who were interested. So just want to get that on the record there. Other than that, I have nothing to announce. No new other business. So would someone like to motion to adjourn?
I can. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a second.
All right. So Carrie, let's get out of here for the month. Thanks.
Yay.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you.